Ladies and gentle cars, episode 154.
154, cabrones.
What he said.
The penultimate episode.
Yes, we are almost to the end of an era, ladies and gentlemen.
The end is here.
Dun, 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 dun.
That is a banger of a theme, I will admit.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But anyway, so yes, just four of us this week. Myself, Boss, Ricky, and James. Scott's not here because it's his birthday. Happy birthday, you old bastard. So, I'm sure he's probably going to tune into this.
He's live streaming
"Hey,
probably
man,
on
what the
his.
hell?"
He's probably live streaming on his channel right now, but
He is.
Yeah.
He'll eventually watch this
Okay.
back and be like, fuck you, Levi. But,
how dare I call you my son?
I'm being
I'm
legally
done.
disowned.
I'm old, I'm tired, and I play with fucking children.
But anyway, so for the penultimate episode, we're doing our final pay-per-view review. And we're talking about the 30th anniversary of, well, a pay-per-view that actually happened in
Beach
1993.
Blast.
WCW Beach Blast 1993 from the Mississippi
second
Coast
and only.
Coliseum in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi.
Tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
The second and last Beach Blast.
The precursor to Bash at the Beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they use the same logo.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, James, how would you like to tell us the story of where the company was at this point?
Well, WCW and wrestling in general was not in a good place by the summer of 1993. Like, WWF was doing shows in very small venues, high school gyms. WCW, they were starting to do shows from Disney MGM in Florida that would be airing in the fall and going forward. And just, neither company was doing great at the time. WCW was slowly creeping up, and when I say slowly, I mean really fucking slow.
Snail's pace.
Porter sex.
But yeah, and it's crazy because just a few weeks before this show, we had the first tapings at Disney for Worldwide, and, well, if you want to know more about that, go watch James's episode on From the Vault about that whole debacle. So, yeah.
Granted, from a business standpoint, it was a smart move because they couldn't get 200 people into an actual taping with, 3 people awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, 93, around this time, WWF, they were struggling because Hogan left and they were trying to do Luger, and we all know how that went.
Yeah, this was shortly after the Lex Express began.
We all know what happened.
But it's like,
at SummerSlam.
WWF had been struggling for over a year by this point. WCW had been struggling for a couple of years, actually, by this point.
Since 91.
Because of the whole
Jim
NWA debacle. We'll
Jim
get to that
Herd.
more later.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, needless to say, yeah, they're trying to get on the right direction now with them Disney tapings, but like I said, kind of a debacle in terms of how many dates they were taping in just 3
They were
days.
they were taping 3 or 4 months of television in just a few days.
Yeah.
Which is overkill beyond repair.
Trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Or if you're like a certain guy on TikTok, you fit every shape into the square hole.
Trying
Yeah,
to
he knows what I'm talking about.
puncture a
And if you do that,
Pretty
you'll make a cute nerd girl cry.
Are you trying to puncture a
Puncture a
wheel?
Capri Sun with a wet spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
anyways,
But anyway,
Anyways.
so Beach Blast 1993. So 8 matches in total. And we kick things off with the first of 4 championship matches of the night. For the WCW World Television Championship, we have champion Paul Orndorff versus
Mr.
challenger
Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Mm-hmm.
versus Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen in a year. But we've talked about it in an episode earlier this year about Ron. Yeah, from a year earlier, well, less than a year earlier, world champion. And here he is being the curtain jerker on this show.
Yep. And I do want to say the commentary, okay, Ventura, what the fuck were you thinking with your hair? He was mainly bald and he had a little ponytail in the back. And
rat tail. He had a little rat tail.
He did that. He did that for a while there, before just cutting it off.
It's like
I think he had that until he became governor,
I think
going for governor.
Time.
So he had it for like another few years.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it weird every time I like see those old pay-per-views and somebody with hair. I'm like, it feels so weird knowing Ventura's bald and all that. I'm like, ugh, doesn't feel right.
And Shivani with the weird orange nose and
trying to pretend he got sunburned or tan or whatever.
Well, it's Beach Blast, so it's gotta be a beach theme.
I know, but Ventura's kind of taking the piss out. He's like, "What's this stuff on here?
Yeah.
I don't listen to country music."
Ventura in WCW was the definition of I don't give a fuck.
Mm.
Like after a while there, Ventura just did not give a shit.
Nah, he didn't give a shit. He was just getting the paycheck, just pay me my
and then just wait till a year after this, he was definitely not giving a shit. And then was fired.
I wonder why.
But anyway, so this match was really just there. Nothing exciting, really, at all. And you can tell by this point, even though Orndorff was still pretty damn good, yeah, the arm issues.
The atrophy.
Was kicking in. And
it only get worse.
Yeah. And then Ron, like I said, less than a year earlier, he's your world champion, and here he is challenging for the 3rd tier title in the opening match of a pay-per-view.
Plus, the crowd just didn't really care. They were just dead.
Nah. Nothing really much to this match. Not that it was bad, it was just there. It was just there to open the show, but in the end, and what the hell finish here? As Paul Orndorff defeated Ron Simmons by disqualification in 11 minutes 15 seconds to retain the World Television Championship. Whatever.
Moving on.
Moving on to match number 2, we get a tag team match. We have Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce, later on the Godwins, versus Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. So yeah, Scorpio and Bagwell been teaming for a little bit up to this point, as both guys still relatively young to the company. And they get put together in a team up against the future Godwins. And this match, again, like the opener, just there.
Just
nothing bad, but nothing.
It's a standard prelim match.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to take a call. Orndorff, Simmons match, it was fine. The over-the-top rules so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a generational thing. The fucking over-the-top rules still one of the dumbest things in wrestling.
Now, this tag match, it felt like a worldwide match on television.
Yeah, pretty much the first half of this card feels more like a worldwide show than a pay-per-view.
And honestly, this match went about 3 minutes too long. You could have cut like this match in half and it felt like you wouldn't have missed anything. And also, why do I feel like there was some theme dubbing in this show?
That's licensing rights issues for you.
Yeah, that's true, but it wasn't a bad match per se.
No,
it was one of your standard prelim matches that is there to fill out a card and
Mhm.
get stuff ready for the matches that matter.
Yep.
But in the
I don't
end,
think it's the worst match of the show, though.
we'll get to those soon.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit.
But in the end, Scorpio and Bagwell win in 12 minutes, 48 seconds. Oh dear. Now we're on to the real shit of the show. Match number 3, we have Lord Steven Regal with Sir William versus Eric Watts.
Why the fuck was Eric Watts on pay-per-view? And you can't say because of Bill. Bill was gone by this point.
I don't know.
When Regal has a bad match, then you know it's a freaking bad match.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay. I'm not trying to defend this match. This match, from a technical standpoint, is not a bad match. There were some really good counters and some good chain wrestling. But the big problem is no one cared about this match. No one gave a fuck about it. Like, again, I don't think it's technically a bad match. It's just this crowd was not buying it because they didn't like Eric because he was Bill's kid. And Regal just came into the company, so they didn't really have a chance to really digest.
Regal was still new in the whole Lord gimmick.
Yeah, this was a new gimmick that they were trying to, like, you know, again, digest and see, like, okay, what can he do with this? So they were kind of dealt with a double-edged sword. Like, Eric was not a bad wrestler. He was just a bad...
He's
like
the worst
bad
case
in
of
terms of
nepotism
reputation.
in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
He was positioned higher than he ever should have, because by this point, he should have still been in wrestling school.
But after college, all the way up there.
They fucking put him on TV way too early.
And I don't think it was all... this wasn't all Eric's fault. I don't think he really wanted to do this. Kind of like David Flair. He really didn't want to do it, but Bill was
Bill.
desperate. Yeah, Bill was Bill. All that stuff.
Dude, if Bill was still the booker around this time, then Watts would have been a champion.
And the company would have died.
Yeah, he would have been world champion, and at that point, WCW would have died.
No, they wouldn't have.
Earlier than it should have.
Well, keep in mind...
He'd have been given, like, the U.S. title or something.
Or the television title. Some mid-card title, at least. But, yeah, again, I don't think this is necessarily a bad match. It's just this crowd didn't care for it.
But in the end, Lord Steven Regal defeated Eric Watts in 7 minutes, 31 seconds. And, well, we get another stinker. Up next, we have Johnny B. Bad versus Max Payne. Or, I'm sorry, Man Mountain Rock. Or, no, Max Payne. Yeah, Max Payne. Again, another bad match that felt like more like a worldwide match. Or, hell, even like fucking... Was Power Hour a thing at this point?
Yeah, Power Hour was still around. And
like, this felt more...
Main event. WCW main event. That's another one.
Yeah, this match
and
felt
not even the fucking A show. This wasn't even Saturday night.
Like, no. I felt that half of this pay-per-view felt like a house show.
Well,
honestly,
now see, that was kind of a trend during the early WCW pay-per-views. You would have half the show of your prelim matches, and then you would get your big main event level matches.
It was kind of like the precursor to Nitro, basically. Like, okay.
To a degree, yeah.
Don't technically think it's a bad match because at least the crowd was into it. I don't know why, but whenever I saw Max Payne, I'm like, is this Vinnie Paul?
Yeah, he does look a little bit like Vinnie Paul.
I'm like, wait, did Dimebag and Vinnie have a long-lost cousin that no one told us about? What the hell's going on here? Again,
I mean, they could have.
It's not a bad match. The crowd was into it, and at least it was short. It was about 5 minutes.
Less than 5, yeah.
Around there.
It's not a bad match. Basically, get your shit in, get out. That's literally all they did. And there was a couple decent spots. I mean, Max Payne, he was fine for a big guy, but he
was mostly better off as a tag team guy.
Yeah, him and Cactus was amazing as a team.
But him as a singles guy didn't work.
It didn't click with the crowd. But the crowd was into it because they loved Mark or Johnny B.
Yeah.
Bad at the time, so they were at least somewhat interested in the crowd. And not to mention a little bit of a botch towards the end because it looked like Mark was about to go up top, but then he got off the top, just went to the second rope, and got the win.
As Johnny B. Bad defeated Max Payne in 4 minutes 50 seconds. So that's half of the show. Yeah. Now we're into the second half with the matches that actually mattered. Mm-hmm. And we kick off the second half with the second of 4 championship matches for the WCW, even though it's really the NWA World Tag Team Championships.
It was the Unified World Tag Team titles is what it was.
Unified.
Yeah. Yeah, because they called it the WCW World Tag titles, but yet they were using the NWA belts.
Well, how it was, for a year up to this point, whoever the WCW tag champs, whoever the tag champs were had both belts. They were the WCW and the NWA champs, and they were known as the Unified Tag Champs until September. But yeah, instead, for a while there, the teams were carrying around both sets of belts, and then after a while, you had one carry around one belt, one carry around the other belt. Which made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here in this match, we have the champions, the Hollywood Blondes of Flying Brian and Stunning Steve, versus the Horsemen of Arn Anderson and Paul Roma.
The greatest horseman of all time.
And that's an offense.
When you think of the Horsemen, you think Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, Paul Roma.
Paul Roma?
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than Mongo. I'll say that.
No,
Mongo was better. Mongo
was a bit better.
Mongo fit into
Roma could work.
Look,
Mongo
Mongo fit into the party scene of the Horsemen. Ask Ric Flair.
Whoa.
Mongo could drink like any Horseman did back in the day. So that's why he fit in. And see, Mongo's whole thing, he only had a couple of jobs. Be a power guy and talk crazy. And he did both. And he did fine with it. He wasn't meant to be a worker. That's why during that iteration of the Horsemen, you had Benoit, you had Malenko, you had all these other guys that could wrestle.
Yep. But yeah, Paul Roma was a horseman, ladies and gentlemen.
He did stick out like a sore thumb. Like
he really did.
Like one of these things doesn't belong.
When they brought the Horsemen back at Slamboree, you had Flair, both Andersons, and Roma, and it's like, yeah, 3 of these guys are stars, and then Roma, I remember him being a part of Power and Glory, who lost all the time in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Paul want to be a horseman? Come on in, pal.
You know, and you know what? The thing, at least Roma's like, yeah, I didn't belong in the Horsemen.
Yeah.
I don't know whose booking decision it was. I didn't hate it. It's just like, okay.
It just was an odd fit.
Yeah.
I think at this time it was Dusty who was booking.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Dusty. Because, yeah.
But despite Paul Roma being a horseman, the match itself was actually the first good match of this show. This was actually a pretty good match. Granted, yeah, the time was kind of overkill, but that was kind of the standard at this point.
They went so long. Like 93 in tag title matches, there's this trend of we have to go 25 minutes.
Yeah.
We have to go really freaking long.
We have to make everyone look very
i.e. look at Starrcade that year.
Oh god, yeah.
And that match is still going on.
What tag match was that again?
That was Nasties versus Sting versus Hawk.
Okay, yeah.
Where Missy Hyatt's boobs fell out. And that is true.
Boobs. Yeah, this match did go a couple minutes too long, but I thought they did well with the time they were given.
Yeah. I mean, you put like the Blondes up against anybody, no matter how long, they were gonna give you a quality match.
Yeah.
The Blondes should have lasted way longer than they should have. They should have lasted at least 3 years, but they only lasted like what?
Less than a year.
10 months. But
Yeah,
think about
they
it.
lasted that
The
long.
length of how long the Blondes lasted, that added into the Stone Cold character later on. Think about it. If you went any longer, do you really get Stone Cold a couple years later? I don't think so.
Or you get Loose Cannon Brian Pillman.
Or Brian, yeah, also with that.
Mhm.
And hell, even Austin was pissed that they split up.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and it's
we
so
were-
odd. It's just
The
funny.
ironic thing of it is, he didn't want to be a team in the first place.
I know, that's the weirder part. He's
Yeah,
like,
because
"Well, I don't
we
wanna
go
be
back
tag
to that
team."
story. We go back to that story where Austin was told by Dusty he was going to get Harley as his manager and become U.S. champion, and then eventually get into the world title hunt whenever the time came. And then yeah, you get Brian coming up and it's like, hey, we need to come up with a finish. What? We're a tag team. That's bullshit. Dusty just told me I'm going to have Harley. No, go talk to him. Yeah, baby, we're going to put you as a tag team, you and Flying Brian, and you come out, and maybe eventually you come up with something really cool. Yeah, baby. But hey, it all worked out because the Blondes were one of the best things that WCW had at this point. Like, holy shit. In terms of, like, short-term teams, you could make a case this is the greatest short-term team in the history of the business. Because 10 months, look what all they did. They
And
did
one of
some classic stuff.
The great
One of
thing is
those-
people remember them to this very day.
Exactly.
Mhm.
One of those teams that the landscape of wrestling would have been very different is it would have still been tag team. Cause like
For at
Shane
least
said-
at least another 6 months, like heading in the first half of '94.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
because after this, Austin went to the Dangerous Alliance. Am I
No,
No,
correct?
this-
Dangerous
that was
Alliance
way
was
before this.
before.
Oh, yeah,
That was
I
a
always-
year before.
I
He
always
eventually
think
got-
Austin-
He eventually had
Austin
Colonel
became-
Robert Parker by the end of the year.
Which
Yeah,
yeah, that's a great freaking yeah. You're gonna go from Harley Race to Colonel Parker. Yeah, that's fucking great.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
because
Austin would get the U.S. title, and then he'd lose that to Duggan at Fall Brawl '94.
Yeah. He lost it to Steamboat beforehand.
Yeah, but those
And
matches
the-
were great with Steamboat.
Oh yeah.
Right. But yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
They were doing good with Steve. They just didn't know what to do with Brian.
Oh yeah, they didn't know what to do with Brian until Brian said, "I'm just gonna go crazy.
In
I
I
'95.
respect you, Booker Man. And
I am going
That-
to work everybody."
and then of course ECW, and then of course the
The
rest.
rest is history.
history.
But yeah, it's just the ironic thing. Austin didn't want to do the team, but then once they got split up, he's like, no, I want to keep this going. This has been some good stuff. I've had the time of my life with Brian, my best friend.
Don't knock it till you try it. Don't knock it till you try it.
Right?
I mean, $20 is $20.
But yeah, match, pretty good. Granted, yeah, went about 6 minutes too long, but again, that was kind of the standard for WCW tag title matches at this point. But in the end, the Hollywood
I
Blondes...
really like to finish this match, though. I really like the finish.
Yeah, the baby faces and Arn and Roma trying to pull the tights, and Blondes are like, we're gonna do it and get away with it. But in the end, the Blondes defeated the Horsemen in 26 minutes, 14 seconds.
It
And
didn't even
apparently-
feel that long.
Apparently, they changed the finish to this match because with the Disney tapings, they had Arn and Roma as the champions. So, they're going to change the belts here. But nope, we're going to have them wait until the Clash of the Champions in August. And then Pillman got hurt. So they had to make Hollywood Blonde Lord Steven Regal.
Disney tapings, what the
Well, hey, the Hollywood Blondes, one guy's from Texas, one guy's from Ohio. So having a British Hollywood Blonde makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah. I mean, if you put it in that concept, then yeah.
I
That
mean, it's better
context,
than
yeah.
Regal being, he's a man.
Okay, Real Man is the greatest theme song of all time. You shut your mouth, kid.
He's so mad, such a man.
That's strike 299 3/4 out of 100.
Wait. What? How? Why did I? No. Don't try and point the finger at me here, mister. I never said that was a bad thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I
don't think you did.
That's fucking brilliant. Dude,
But
Anyway,
anyways,
moving on.
moving on. Moving on, boss.
Okay.
All right. So
He's a man with a
Such
can
a
of spam.
don't
You know
bring
what, Levi?
spam near Tajiri.
You know what, Levi? I find you tiresome.
You know what I find tiresome, motherfucker?
You and your big old glasses and your curly ginger hair.
I need to watch that rain again after this. I need to.
But
On YouTube.
now moving on to match number 6, the third of 4 championship matches of the night. An Iron Man match for the vacant WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. Dustin Rhodes versus Rick Rude.
Natural.
So yeah, we do a little rewind back. So in 92, Rick Rude was in the middle of an excellent U.S. title reign and was on his way to challenging then WCW World Heavyweight Champion Ron Simmons at Starrcade before he suffered a herniated disc in his neck. And had to take time off, and because he had to take time off, he was stripped of the United States Heavyweight title. In the meantime, Dustin became champion, and Rude comes back, and you would think, given Rude as a heel, he'd be like, yeah, you won the belt, now give it to me, it's my belt. He said, no, I want to beat you, Dustin. Basically, slowly beginning a babyface turn for Rude that would gradually get more and more as the year goes on and into 94. But eventually the belt gets vacated, and we get the match between Dustin and Rude here in the Iron Man match. The match itself, really good match between these two. Granted,
good match.
I thought it was. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, yeah, granted, it's kind of like some Iron Man matches you would see where in the beginning, you would get some action, and then once you get to around the 1/3 to the halfway point, yeah, rest holds to catch your breath, and then the final 10 minutes, they speed things up and get into the final sequence. But I thought it was executed really good. Granted, not nearly as great as the Iron Man match Rude had the year before with Steamboat.
Oh, yeah.
But still a really good match, all things
Steamboat
considered.
Rude match is one of my favorite WCW matches. It was like how there was no pinfall attempt within like the first 10 minutes. I really like that. And the funny thing is about Ventura, he's like, well, you see, Shivani, there's been no pinfall attempts. There was a pinfall attempt like 3 minutes ago. And they kept saying that until they finally started doing pinfall attempts. Like, oh, they were doing that. And I'm like, they were doing that 5 minutes after you said that. It's like, Jesus.
But yeah, I believe around the halfway point, yeah, Rude gets his first fall with the Rude Awakening. And then it had to take until under 4 minutes to go for Dustin to finally get a fall with the Bulldog. So it's 1-1, and then things get really intense towards the end. And Dustin had Rude in a pin after a DDT at the last second. 1, 2, the bell rings. Match ends in a 1-1 draw. Yeah, crowd was not happy about that.
Yeah, the fans were pissed. I do want to say, why were you going to have a nearly 30-minute match before a 30-man Iron Man match?
That is kind of it.
Weird structure.
Why would
card,
you have back-to-back? Why would you have back-to-back 30-minute matches?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go over into further detail when we get to the next match.
But in the end, Dustin Rhodes versus Rick Rude ended in a 1-1 draw in 30 minutes, meaning nobody is the United States Heavyweight Champion.
To set up a best-of-3 to take place on TV that would conclude in September.
Yay, tapings!
But now moving on to match number 7 and the fourth and final championship match of the night for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. champion Barry Windham versus challenger Ric Flair. So
Woo!
we rewind back to Super Brawl earlier in the year when Windham beat Great Muta to win the NWA title. Ric Flair returns to WCW after his nearly year and a half run over into WWF. And first thing he does, he's paying attention to the NWA title match. Windham wins the belt. Flair's offering to put the belt on Barry, and Barry seizes Flair, setting off their story. And it culminates here at Beach Blast. Now, the match itself, solid at best, I would say. It was still alright, but it ain't like the Flair-Windham matches you saw in the years before.
It was way too short. Way too short.
Well, Barry got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Barry hurt his knee. He'd be gone for almost a year.
Mm-hmm,
he wouldn't make his return until Slamboree the following year.
Yeah.
That's why it was short.
I did feel like this match was pretty rushed. I don't know why. I felt like this match was rushed. Like, and also too, while this match was not bad, I just felt kind of underwhelming with this match. Like, there were some good moments, but it felt like a lot of things didn't click. I mean, granted, it could have been that Barry got hurt, or they're like, well, you're given about like 10 minutes and some change. Do as much as you can. And the finish kind of felt out of nowhere, too. It felt so anticlimactic. Where Flair's in the figure 4, and then Barry's shoulders are to the mat. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Flair wins, and everyone's now jumping for joy. It's like there was like no build up to it. And even the commentators were like on a 5-second delay. They're like, oh, wait, Flair won 10 times.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, what the hell just happened here?
And also the promo, what the fuck was Flair talking about in that promo? I tried to make what he was trying to say. Even with subtitles on, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Adolescents, teenagers, babies, flying monkeys. Like, what? The flying spaghetti monster.
You need to crack the code. That's what you need to do.
But in the end, Ric Flair defeated Barry Windham in 11 minutes 15 seconds, and this would be the final time the NWA World Heavyweight Championship defended on a WCW pay-per-view.
And it wasn't the NWA World Championship, it was the big gold belt.
Well, it still was the NWA title at this time.
I know,
yeah, it still was.
It's still... And Flair won back the belt he never lost.
Yep.
And he still technically never lost the NWA title. 30 years after the fact.
Yeah, because, of course, going back to them Disney tapings, when the NWA found out they were changing the belts willy-nilly, led to the fallout between the NWA and WCW.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
But now we're on to the final match of the night, match number 8. The main event, the tag team match. We have the Masters of the Powerbomb, Big Van Vader and Sid Vicious with Harley Race and Colonel Robert Parker versus Sting and Davey Boy Smith, the British
WCW Superpowers, as they were called.
Yep.
Yeah. Now let's rewind to the mini-movie for this match.
I watched this. I watched this morning.
Yes.
This was great. Well, it started off with the formation of the Masters of the Powerbomb. Sid and Vader. They have this big press conference, and Colonel Parker's offering retirement to Sting and Davey Boy, and, well, they're not coming to the press conference, so we're going to come to them. So we get to a beach where they're playing volleyball with kids, and then here comes this big freaking battleship where Vader and Sid, Harley, and Colonel Parker, we have this big stare down. They refuse to retire. Meanwhile, a midget is putting a bomb on a boat that they're going to blow up, and then all in all, Sting and Davey are fine, and it's to be continued here at Beach Blast. That fucking happened, people. That fucking happened in 1993. and it's on YouTube for everyone to see.
The genius who created that scenario.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's cinema, baby. It was all dusty.
Yeah.
The mini
That
movies was
screamed
dusties.
That all screamed dusty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, basically,
movies.
and this was the third and final mini.
This was
movie
the
they
last
did.
one.
The
Could
first
you
one
imagine
was
had
spin
they
the wheel,
done
make the
any
deal.
more?
Oh,
Could you
God.
imagine if
Shudder
they
to
would have
think.
done any more? Like Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal Part 2?
No.
I mean,
Oh,
technically
White
they
Castle
did with
Fear
Lost
Part
in
2.
Cleveland.
Was the other two mini movies Spin the Wheel and the White
And
Castle?
White Castle
Yes.
Fear, and the
Okay,
Lost in
okay.
Cleveland stuff with Foley at this point.
Well, Lost in Cleveland wasn't a part of the mini movies,
But it was made in the same way.
But could you imagine had they done mini movies? If Sid and Vader would have actually happened at Starrcade, and we would have had a Vader and Sid mini movie.
You know Sid will go fucking bonkers over that.
When does Sid not go bonkers?
You know, and I know that I have half the brain that you do.
I don't know shit, crybaby! Why me?
I mean, then again, this is July 1993. Give Sid and R9 2 more months and
Oh yeah,
scissoring
only
happening.
a fucking couple of more months. You know why WCW ain't drawing? It's cause them old bastards Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. Well, why don't you let's fight. Hey Arn, I got me a chair leg. Well, I got scissors. Hey man, we cool. Stab. Give it the new definition to scissor me.
Oh, Jesus.
Scissor me, Sid ass. Oh lord.
Scissor me, double A.
I don't
But
like the way
anyways.
that breaks, I'm sorry.
Anyways,
So the mini movies are so bad they're good.
they are such a 0 that they stretch and they're a 10.
Yep.
They are
You gotta
rude.
check them out
They are
because
the equivalent of Batman or Robin before Batman or Robin.
To some certain extent.
It's the wrestling equivalent to Lords of Chaos.
you
Now-
got a
oh,
midget trying to
going
blow up a
going back to
boat.
what you said with Foley being lost in Cleveland, he may be lost in Cleveland, but I wish I was lost in Cleveland.
Cleavage. But anyways,
He's the main
despite the
God damn it! I
despite the bad mini movie, something that wasn't bad was this match. This was a very
This was a
good
great
tag
main
team
event.
match
Oh,
between
yeah,
these
great
two
match.
teams.
the pairing between Sting and Bulldog is a pairing that no one thought would be great until they
And
saw
they were a good pairing for the short period
they're
that they were
underrated.
together.
Like
Very underrated.
They didn't last
Both
long
teams
as it.
were.
They were a special attraction team,
Yep.
mhm.
is what they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Sid's like ruler of the universe. I don't know why. I always love that.
I am the ruler of the world.
I mean, Sid's that crazy to think he might actually be the master of the universe.
And I mean, just the team of the masters of the power bomb, Sid and Vader as a team.
That's a hell of a team right there.
Yeah.
I also like how Davey Boy Smith just vertical suplexes Vader with like no sweat. Like I marked out every time that happens. Like you have a dude who's little,
400.
like,
450
pounds, like what, 6
foot
6'5".
somewhere like that. Here's fucking Davey Boy,
Who's
alright,
5'11",
I'm just gonna
270.
suplex you like- yeah, I'm just gonna suplex you like nothing, or I'm gonna suplex you like nothing. Okay.
Hey, Vader,
Oh.
I'll pick you up. I'm gonna hold you, and I'm gonna slam you. Just like I slammed Brett's sister.
I just only
And
ask,
boss is dead.
I just only ask one thing in return. Do not fall flat on your fucking ass when we get to the back.
Yeah.
2 months later, that's when it happens.
That is 1 month later.
Yeah.
Holy, when Uncle Fred shocks
Uncle
the world.
That's Uncle Fred. Oh, he fell on his ass. It
fell flat on his fucking ass.
Who's this motherfucker?
Oh, God.
Flair actually said, "Who's this motherfucker?"
I thought it was Booker who said that.
No, I think it was Flair. They were all there, so
Yeah, I know. So I know it was either Flair or Booker who went, "Oh God," and then Flair or Booker went, "Who's this motherfucker?"
No, I think it was Booker who went, "Oh God," and then Flair,
"Who's this motherfucker?" And then Davey fell on
He
his
fell
ass.
flat on his
He fell flat on his
fucking
fucking ass.
And then you can hear Ole in the back laughing, trying to do this voice because he knows it's dead.
He said he called Sid Stid.
Stid.
I'm not afraid of you, Stid. Everyone knew it was bad. Everyone knew it was terrible, which is why we love it.
Yeah.
And Ottman threw the helmet on the table. They had to change the gimmick.
Because
he was
a
supposed.
War Games match, by the way, people. This was a War Games match that happened in '93.
But this match, where we saw the
was
first
great.
ever 400-pound moonsault in the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow he didn't crush Davey Boy Smith's skull.
No.
I don't
no.
know. Like, Vader, like, we said the same with Yoko, where he could do the bonsai drop and make it safe. This is full-on mass hitting your body. Like, granted, Yoko's was heavier, but this is a 450-pound man doing a moonsault with ease, landing on your face, and somehow it doesn't hurt you. Like,
And Vader was told, "Why the hell are you doing this?"
Because
Why the hell
That's
not?
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm damn Vader. And I don't fucking kick your ass.
It's
and
Vader
Paul
time.
And Paul Orndorff will beat you up with his shower shoes on.
2 years later.
That freaking happened, people.
God, wait, there's so many WCW stories out there.
There really
Yep,
is.
the LeChuck, like, yep, basically like that.
But in the end, Sting and Davey Boy Smith defeated Vader and Sid in 16 minutes 44 seconds. Show over, and, well, the best way to describe Beach Blast 93, this is another example of a tale of two halves. First half, very much like preliminary matches or matches that felt like worldwide or power hour matches more than pay-per-view matches. Second half, you got some meaningful stuff. You had a pretty good tag title match, a really good US title match, an okay to solid NWA World title match, and a great main event. So, if I were to recommend this show to everybody, skip the first 4 matches, watch the tag title match, the Iron Man match, and the main event, and that's all.
But not before you watch the mini-movie.
Yeah, watch the mini-movie
You
beforehand.
Watch it.
You have to watch.
So, with all that said, time for favorite, least favorite, sleeper, and shocker. I think agreement, favorite, the main event.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite, yeah.
And then least favorite, Regal
Oh.
Watts.
Yeah.
Regal
Yeah.
Watts.
Again,
Regal
it was
Watts.
not a bad match per se. It's just the crowd did not give a shit about it.
And then
Then it's a bad match.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
crowd don't
Yeah.
care,
That's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
you could put on a 5-star match, but if it's a 0-star crowd, then
Well, yeah, just ask Meltzer.
And then sleeper, I'm going to go with the tag title match. I'd say that's fair. And then the
I agree.
shocker, the midget blowing the boat up in the mini-movie.
No, Shocker Shockmaster's debut a couple months later.
but that's not part of the
But
show.
that's not part of
that's
Beach
fair.
Blast.
Yeah,
so
the
there
mini
you go.
movie. The mini movie
Yeah.
for how terribly great it is.
The shock, the explosion.
How terribly great or greatly terrible? Which is it?
Or
Is there a difference?
Maybe not.
Push Job Endeavor?
Oh God.
oh god.
Ooh. I'm gonna get
We
evil
haven't done
on
a
you
push
guys.
job
I got one.
I won't let me
Oh,
do mine.
no.
Oh.
Push Job Endeavor. Sting, Davey Boy, Dustin Rhodes.
I was gonna do Davey Boy, Dustin, and Rude.
Push
But that's
thing.
just as evil.
Well, okay,
You gotta-
no, let's change this then. We'll go with Levi's. Rude, Dustin, Davy Boy.
I didn't ever Davy Boy because he can go to Japan.
Because he can go to Japan for a bit and then go back to Vince.
Go back to the Fed.
Yeah.
Push
Now,
Rude.
Push.
And then job
push
Dustin.
Rude so that way he'll become a world champion. You could job Dustin because you could still have sympathy for him. He could still be over with the crowd, and never Davey because he can go to Japan.
That will work.
And plus, 3 months, or not 3 months, like 3 years late. Oh, wait, no, never mind. No,
By the end of the year, he's gone from the company anyway.
I was thinking of Fall Brawl, but that's 96, not 98. Never mind.
That's 5 years later. And he had another WWF run starting in a year after this.
We'll talk about 99, though. That was a depressing point for Davey.
No.
The dog poop match, quote unquote.
That wasn't a match. That wasn't a match.
But still, it was a thing that happened. The dog poop. The dog poop. Oh, Brian Zane.
But anyways,
I fucked your sister last night.
It was me. It was Owen. They fucked him.
Owen put the sardines in the corner.
Or they put all the pigs in Vince's off.
So this week in wrestling,
you put 4 pigs in a locker room, number them 1, 2, 4. Where's the third one?
God damn it. That story will never not get old.
But this week in wrestling.
Well, we had the trial of Roman Reigns last night.
That was
Good
a
Lord.
crazy segment.
Oh God, that was.
Okay, I want to address the elephant in the room. I understand a lot of people. There were some people that liked it. I'm starting to agree with the minority of people that it went a little too long. It went about 10 minutes too long. Because everything else no one really cared for on that show. It was mainly what's Roman's fate going forward. Okay, great drama. Really great drama. Roman being an asshole to the Usos. And another funny thing, too, is he creased the Jordans. Everyone freaked the fuck out about it. And the ending segment, great shit. Setting up Roman and Jay at SummerSlam. You could have done that in about 20 minutes. They went about 35 minutes in total in the opening segment. And the last segment was about 5 minutes. You could have cut that down because anything else from that show, no one cared about. No one cared about the U.S. title match between Theory and Sheamus. No one cared about the women's segments.
AJ Cross.
There was some...
And what's going to be the highest rated thing on the show?
Exactly.
The Bloodline.
But Edge versus Waller, that was a damn good match.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And for Waller's debut, that was good. And I did like Edge's promo. You were donkey paddling in deep waters. I love that line. That was a great line.
Now it gets me curious because I was initially thinking going into SummerSlam we were going to get Logan Paul versus Edge, but now that doesn't look like it's happening. It looks like Logan Paul
versus
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
So now that leaves me curious, who would Edge work with at SummerSlam?
I'm thinking he would do him and Waller again.
Well, no, because Waller's going to work Cena.
If Cena's working.
If Cena's going to be at SummerSlam.
I would say Cena and Waller at Mania.
Build like a slow build to it, probably.
You could do that.
And Cena put over Waller in a big way.
Hot shot of 1 month feud into me.
That is true.
Yeah, they did that with Theory, but that.
But you kind of had to because he was running out of time. But yeah, maybe they could do Edge Waller again at SummerSlam, or I don't know. Because I'm guessing Edge has probably changed his mind about retiring to September. Seems like he's going to keep going, which, good, because he still's got it, man. I don't want to
probably to, like, WrestleMania.
Maybe longer. He might go longer.
I mean,
it's just all depending on what he wants to do.
Yeah. And, of course, we're going to have Gunther, Drew for the Intercontinental title.
That's going to be an amazing match.
Oh.
Chop Fest.
Yeah.
There's some Judgment Day drama going on between Priest and Balor. That was a good. I heard that Natalia and Rhea had a really damn good match.
They
Yeah,
did have a
they-
good
they
match.
did.
I heard great things about it.
I watched that match. It was really good.
I'll probably have to watch that maybe when we're done. Shayna and Ronda are having their match, and
Which that
rumors
should be really
Ronda-
fun.
And apparently it's going to be Ronda's last match, and you're going to have an entire stadium telling her what we think of her.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of boos. There's going to be a lot
Yeah.
of go-aways and na-na-na-na.
Hey, good.
Even though I still think
And
it's
choke her out,
unfair.
Shayna. Fuck her up, Shayna. Fuck her up.
But you know
There
those
was-
two.
there
You know
was-
those two are gonna have a good match.
There was a good line that Shayna did give. No one wants to hear you on the mic. That was a good line. Apparently Ciampa and Miz are feuding, which gives
Which
them
this
something to
entertaining.
do.
Yeah, this coming week they're gonna have a no DQ match, which should be really good. I'm just waiting for them to put Ciampa back together with Gargano.
I think they will.
The women's tag title division is it's non-existent. Like they're just throwing a random.
And it
teams
looks
from-
like, and even with that, it looks like they're just not going to care because they're already looking like they're going to set up Raquel versus Rhea at SummerSlam, probably.
Just get rid of the women's tag titles. Just dump them. Get rid of them. We don't need them anymore. They
were not needed in
they
the
tried
first
to
place.
revitalize them back in 2019, and it worked for about a month.
Not even that.
Again,
Yeah,
those women's tag team titles are cursed. They're
They-
cursed.
They mean as much as the negative $12 bill. Wow, this is worthless. They're less than worthless.
Is that a Simpson reference? I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but
Oh.
it's still one of those things where those belts mean jack shit.
Mhm. Staying on WWE, NXT, the Creeds are out. They're out of NXT. They're probably getting
Creed,
called up to
yep.
the main roster.
Yeah.
Which good. The tag division on the main roster is in desperate need of up and coming starters. It looks like Hayes and Balor are going to be feuding, which I don't mind that. Dragunov and Steiner are having a feud, which absolutely that'll be a
Yeah.
blister of a match.
You know they'll have an amazing match at the Bash at the end of the month.
Yeah. No, they're going to be having a match, and I think whoever wins is going to face Mello for the NXT title, or something like that.
Probably.
I looked on the card on Wikipedia, and it says Carmelo versus Breaker or Dragunov, which that's going to be a hell. It could be a triple threat for all we know. It looks like I would watch NXT more. There's a good reason why. Like, Stax is taking on Coffee, and if Stax wins, then Tony D'Angelo is going to get out of jail and to get a tag title match. But if Stax loses, Tony D'Angelo is going to be on a murder trial for some stupid shit. I'm like, this is why I don't watch this stuff anymore. It's stupid.
And by the way, can I just go out on a limb and say I have a lot more respect for Von Wagner? Because I watched those segments that they've done with him and Robert Stone. It's like, Jesus Christ. So much we didn't know about this guy that we now know about how he grew up. It's like, God damn.
I don't know all what happened.
It was... Oh, my friend Michael just followed on Twitch. It's about time you followed me, you big Florida bastard. Well, you're a fellow Island, but you live in Florida.
Now he unfollowed.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, so what I'm talking about, boss, it was a couple weeks ago on NXT, they did this vignette with Von Wagner and Robert Stone where they told Von Wagner's real life upbringing about having an abnormal skull and almost died as a child until having surgery, and about how he was bullied as a kid for looking odd. So it's almost like they're turning Von Wagner babyface, which, given that story, it's like you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
And now the
Bound to
lever's
happen.
been pulled.
Yeah.
Why do we even have that lever?
Get out of my
I
way.
mean, I thought they were calling him up to the main roster because I thought that's what they did. Like,
It doesn't look like they're going to.
I really have not cared for him in all honesty because I don't know. He
just needs
really-
more time. He just needs more time.
Yeah.
Come
But,
Tuesday.
I mean, come Tuesday, yes. Where's Dijak at, by the way? I feel like they just kind of written him off ever since that match with Dragunov in Battleground. Who knows? I heard. Oh,
Ricky's gone now.
The lagger, he might have accidentally hung up.
Apparently, Bate and Ali had a match, which that sounds like a pretty good match. Yeah, there's some stuff going on in NXT.
There's a lot of good talent in NXT.
Mhm.
There is. It's just I just have not cared for NXT because there's so much cartoonish dumb shit on that show. Well, might as well talk about it. Well, I want to mainly talk about what happened in New Japan under Independence Day show. Have you guys seen that shit on Twitter? What Jon Moxley's been doing?
What?
So this was a tag match. It was a no DQ Doomsday match. It was between Moxley and Homicide against El Desperado and Jun Kasai. I think that's how you say his name. He's a death match guy. There was a point in the match where Moxley and I think El Desperado were trying to put skewers in each other's heads, and Moxley was the one that looked like he got impaled by a wooden unicorn. Yeah. I'm looking at it, I'm like, why? Why? There is no point to it. And I'm like, you know, I'm about to not fucking watch this guy do shit anymore. Because you can only do so much hardcore shit until eventually no one's gonna care about it. Well, people were kind of criticizing me like, oh, you don't like this stuff, but yet you like the shit that, you know, Funk and Foley did. Well, here's the difference. At least Funk and Foley knew when to slow the shit down. Moxley's doing this on a weekly basis, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why?
It's what Moxley loves to do. It's his specialty.
Like, I want to know how Renee feels about this shit.
She'd probably choose him out for it every time he gets home. Probably even worse than how Rebby chewed out Matt Hardy for that one spot in AEW 3 years ago.
But shout out to Eddie Kingston, though, winning a belt in
New Japan Strong.
And you could see the emotion on his face. Like, it meant something to him. After
he hasn't won a title in how long now?
But it's one of those things, it's not even just that not winning a title, it's winning a New Japan title in Japan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
against Kenta, too.
It meant something to him. And just the emotion on his face, like, you could tell, like, for right in that moment, it was real to him.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it. Eddie Kingston was supposed to retire at the end of 2019.
I didn't know that.
He was gonna when he was in the NWA before he came to AEW, he was gonna retire, and then he did the AEW stuff, and the rest is the rest.
He's very outspoken too.
Perhaps too outspoken at times.
At times, yeah.
But you know what? He speaks his mind, and you can respect somebody like that who's not a phony bullshitter. Mm-hmm. He doesn't phony bullshit. If he likes you, he likes you. If he hates you, he'll fucking tell you.
Kind of like Punk in a way.
Yeah, kind of like Punk.
But you know
not
what?
Not as bad. I will say not as bad as Punk, though.
At least he can be professional about it.
Yeah.
There have been times where I just would wish Eddie would shut the hell up about certain shit.
Speaking of Punk, Survivor Series has been announced in Chicago.
Yep. All-State Arena. But no War Games tag.
No War Games.
So.
I was going to say, no War Games.
But you know what? You don't need War Games every single year. War Games should only be a special match.
Mm-hmm.
When the feud calls for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When, like, once
or when you have multiple feuds going on.
Once every 2 years, 3 years.
Not even that. It should be a once in a...
Blue Moon
thing.
Like what
Hell in a
Helen...
Cell.
what Hell in a Cell should be, what a lot of stipulations should be. Once every, like, with Ring of Honor, say what you will about Ring of Honor, but like a Fight Without Honor or a Ladder War, those didn't happen
Steel
all
Warfare.
the time. Like,
Steel Warfare is another one.
Fight Without Honor happened once in a blue moon. Ladder War happened once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of AEW, they're doing this whole blind eliminator thing, which is basically lethal lottery, but somehow more convoluted. I like the MJF and Adam Cole stuff that they're doing. I think that's entertaining as hell.
That is an intriguing feud.
Freaking magic meat.
Yeah.
That shit was great. Fucking give us more of magic meat. That was great.
Apparently Meltzer gave shockingly, I know this is shocking to everyone, he gave Kenny Omega almost 5 stars.
No.
In a TV match.
Who really cares?
Wheeler Yuta of all people.
Who really cares?
Let me just say this. Meltzer, how the fuck did Kurt Angle not get a 5-star match, but yet Kenny Omega, who does the same fucking thing every match, get 5 stars? You're gonna tell me, I saw this clip with him and Chris Van Fleet, that Taker and Shawn for Mania 25 didn't get 5 stars because he said it was quote-unquote little too predictable and nothing stood out. Okay, fair, I guess. But you have a guy who's not over in the States and who's only over in Japan. And meanwhile, you have 2 fucking gymnastics that do nothing but the same shit every day, and yet they get 5 stars. Oh, wait, no, they get 6 stars. They get 7 stars. They get 8 stars. Holy shit, we broke them out for scale. What? Oh.
Somebody clip that, please.
But at the end of the day, we're getting emotional over another guy's opinions. Like, we have the right to our opinions.
True. Yeah. Like, honestly, when you set up the whole thing between Taker and Shawn at WrestleMania 25, I'm like, that should have been a 5-star match.
Or how he said 4.75 is pretty much 5.
If it's 5, then why don't you give it 5? Meltzer?
But you know what? Again, it's his opinion. It's whatever.
But it pisses me off that he's getting a super kick party schlong in a suckhole, and yet we're supposed to think he's the best observer in the world. Like, dude, get the out of your mouth. We're tired of it. We get it. You like Omega and the Bucks. Cool.
You're not actually men because they don't have it. Then what are they?
They're just men with vaginas, I guess. I don't know, Ricky.
Brennan as a mangina. Brennan as a mangina. Step Brothers reference, folks.
AIDS.
I hate to tell you, boy, that you have AIDS. Yes, you have AIDS. You might have got it when you stuck that filthy needle in here. Or maybe all that unprotected sex. God, I tongue twist myself. Damn it. That fucking Meltzer rant has messed with my head. Thanks, boss.
Oh, also,
that's 2 and 99.99/100.
Give me fucking 3 strikes already, Levi.
Hey, you're worse than Meltzer. Give him the fucking 3 strikes already.
The show's gonna end next week. Come on, dude. I did I might have to send you guys this in the chat, but I saw this one with that whole Gorilla Monsoon podcast thing. It was him, Heenan, and Mean Gene talking about this Ken Patera promo.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I fucking cried. They were talking about like milk duds and fucking Granted, like the promo was terrible, but the commentary made up for it.
And that shot in the actual promo of Mean Gene almost about to die of laughter towards the end.
He was like, you know what? You're the shits. You're the drizzling shits. You know that?
Like when he told that to Volkov, you're the shits. You know that?
Yeah.
You know what? You're the drizzling shits, pal. Have I ever told you that?
Was this week the Adrian Adonis Dark Side of the Ring?
Next week is.
It's next week.
There wasn't
next
a new
week.
one this week.
No, they took it off.
I'm more excited for that episode because I don't know that much about Adrian Adonis, honestly.
Yeah,
So
July 4th was the 35th anniversary of his death.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm really
curious
excited
about that Bam Bam Bigelow one. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with him. But what's their dark side to Bam Bam? That's like the big. I'm like,
and
what?
that's what we're gonna watch the episode for.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I
something because
I thought they were going to do Bam Bam Terry Gordy. That's what I thought they were going to do. But we'll have to find out.
I mean, eventually they're gonna run out of ideas. Unless there's some that we haven't even thought about. If they start going to different territories or different wrestling promotions besides the ones that have been covered, like if they go to AAA, I'll pick your poison there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it, mainly. I can't think of anything else.
Let's see what's going on in AEW right now.
I keep thinking there was something else that happened in WWE this
Owen
week
Hart,
that I'm trying to remember.
The Owen Hart tournament.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So, speaking of SmackDown last night, they did a segment that wasn't on the show. It was a digital exclusive. Pretty much LA Knight's babyface now, because he beat the shit out of Hit Row to a huge ovation.
Oh,
and letting the crowd do his shtick for him instead of him doing it himself. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say he's babyface now.
And Levi and I, the other day, we were trying to figure out what catchphrase would fit with pretty much every single catchphrase.
So this started as a joke over on TeamSpeak with my racing buddies who are also wrestling fans. And on TeamSpeak, I got a soundboard over there with all sorts of random shit. And another friend of mine has the same soundboard. And, like, we would play random quotes from movies or whatever and end it with, yeah! Or catchphrases like we would go, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Yeah!
Shoes of a champion. You see this? Shoes of a champion. Wait, did I just say shoes of a champion? Yeah!
Oh, another thing.
Or
too.
if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Yeah!
Yeah!
That's another thing I want to lead into real quick. Kevin Nash went on his podcast with Sean Oliver and talking about how Knight's basically ripping off.
And you wonder why I've never been a big Kevin Nash guy.
But you know what? Why are people getting so upset about it?
Because he's wrong.
I even said
That's why.
Watching The Rock and Austin, he said
But it's like, does it matter really that he's ripping off? If you're gonna be ripping off anybody, rip off somebody who's really damn successful.
Like those two,
or take inspiration and meld it into something of your own, which is what he's doing.
Yeah.
But for Nash to say straight up rip off, it's like, come on, Nash, and you wonder why I get irritated with some shit you say. It's like you're not making any sense here.
Like, look at Shark Boy. Like, when he was doing the whole Stone Cold, people loved it.
And that was a blatant ripoff, but it was great.
Yeah, like, as long as plagiarism, like, every wrestler is going to rip off a wrestler in some capacity.
Or take inspiration.
Hogan did it with
Ventura and Billy Graham.
Ventura and Superstar Billy Graham. That's like the big example I could think of. Flair did it with Buddy
Rogers.
Buddy Rogers. And Gorgeous George to a certain extent.
Gorgeous George,
to an extent, Gorgeous George.
Yeah, every wrestler is going to at least parody another wrestler in some capacity.
Or better, taking inspiration and taking it and put their own spin on it.
I mean, if you're going to be a ripoff of anybody, be the ripoff of The Rock. I mean...
I was saying this to Levi the other day. Can you imagine if DX comes back, LA Knight comes out, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Suck it! Yeah!
No, he's
and you know what would be funny? And you know what would be funny? I just thought of this. I could picture Grimm's Toy Show doing a video if he saw that. He'd be like going on this comedic tantrum about, you're stealing my thing, I go, eat it, yeah. Of course, he'd just be saying that just for the hell of it, being like, it's okay, I love it, it's awesome. That would be hilarious, all things considered. Suck it, yeah! You can put yeah at the end of everything and it fits.
Get turn, yeah. If everyone knows about screwing, it's you, yeah.
Slayer, yeah.
Yeah.
You combine
No.
2 languages
No,
into one.
no. You gotta do it. Slayer, yeah.
Slayer.
Sounded like someone squeezed your nutsack, boss.
Yeah, it was me. If I have one.
Okay.
Oh. What was the one that we were thinking of?
What
like
was
it's
today's
true.
topic again? I don't fucking know.
It's true. It's damn true. Yeah.
What you gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, dig it. Yeah.
Okay, that one maybe doesn't fit as much.
Probably.
That might be the one, just because you already got a yeah in there. But anyways, when we start going down that rabbit hole, that's a good time to wrap up. So that was it for the...
Cream carrot cake.
Yeah.
And lots of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for you, Scott. Happy birthday.
Cinnamon rolls? Yeah. Buttercream? Yeah. Carrot cake? Yeah. Thick?
Yeah.
Cookies and milk?
Yeah.
Sweets are us.
Yeah. But anyway, so that does it for the penultimate episode of the Shadow Kvlt podcast. We will be back for our final episode next week. And hopefully Walter will join us, so we'll have all 6 of us on.
We're going to have to talk to him and be like, hey, why don't you join in? It's going to be the last episode.
Yeah.
I think Walter probably saw it in the little
in
Twitter
the DMs.
chat.
Yeah.
And next week going to be talking about our top 10 favorite belt designs.
Which I still
some
gotta
of
work
us-
on my list.
Some of us own belts, others do not.
Yep. But that's next week, and also we'll be reminiscing some of our favorite episodes, moments, the whole 9 yards. Next week, it's the end of an era.
The
Over
time
3
Levi
years.
called Ricky a stowaway.
A child stowaway. Or what about the time? What about that
Ricky
time?
pissed off Michelle?
Or that time, James, you said to Scott that it's a work?
or the time Boss forgot to put the Royal Rumble
Number 1 on his gimmick matches list.
Last week.
Uh,
You mean
I
all
keep,
the times? that
man,
we
I am
saw?
dropping shit everywhere tonight.
that time Ricky showed the Nikita Lyons photo autographed.
The time I lost my shit doing an AEW rant.
The
times
time,
I pissed
the
James
time
off
my
because
phone
of
decided to quack whenever I said WrestleMania 11.
Huh!
No. Or you just made the list.
Well, let's talk about Tony Khan.
But anyway, so we will see you next week. But before we go, it is plug time, and we'll start with Bosch.
You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at BossUp86, where I just did another video on weekend wrestling news. Went on a little bit longer than I was actually intentionally, but because there was some stuff I had to talk about. And on the metal side of things, I didn't review anything this week because there was nothing really that really grabbed me. But I was looking at all the other stuff on Livewire, and holy shit, the rest of the year, especially September, we're in for a lot of good shit.
Yes, we are.
Shit, pal.
Yes, we are.
So I'm very interested to see what's going to be happening in that month. I just now finished my notes for my Bolt Thrower retrospective. Now I got to listen to the albums and now rank them. You know, the Warriors of Death Metal. So that's going to be fun. So,
Yes, Bolt Thrower, this next song's about war. This next song after is also about war and
This next
destruction and more
It's about
war.
butt fucking.
Okay,
Motherfucker!
you're not
Motherfucker!
Michael Ockerfeld, Ricky.
Butt
Hey,
scratcher! Butt scratcher!
Speaking of Ricky, you're shit.
I think
You
it's
get-
very good.
Why are you calling his stuff shit? He makes good stuff.
We all have shit.
We all have good shit, damn it.
I'm the lowest. I have the lowest amount of subscribers.
Everybody shits.
Everybody shits here, but you can find me on my Instagram, Metal Guy. You can subscribe on my YouTube channel, Horror Master, which this week I actually uploaded 2 videos. The first one, my Little CD Collection update number 12, which was for the longest time I actually did a CD collection. There might be one coming up earlier than expected because I'm gonna go to Houston the end of the month and I'm gonna go and just spend a lot of money in record shops. I'm gonna try to find a lot of shit. You're gonna see me with 2 big ass bags of CDs coming your way, people. Trust me. And of course, I did my latest episode, controversial album cover series on carcasses, smell the carcass, and that story debacle, JFK. And stay tuned for the next 2 episodes. It will be on episode 19, Typo Negatives, the origin of the feces, and
Sphincter.
Iron Maidens, the number of the beast.
You can breathe in the summer moon.
And you'll see Peter Steele's kidneys if you look at that cover. Gaped.
Why is it chocolate?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, James.
Why does it smell like ranch?
You subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, and the whole Threads thingy that everybody's jumping aboard. It's Instagram with words, which is like Twitter with pictures.
Twitter, pretty much.
It's Twitter, but by the people who make Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So, yeah, follow me, subscribe to me, do all that good stuff.
Rates limited.
And finally, subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't already, Thrash Maniac 99. Same old stuff, album reviews, all that.
Let's try to give away CDs, people.
Yeah,
subscribe.
Help me out. I'm still less than 300
If you
away from
subscribe,
4,000.
you might get a nipple.
Titty nipple.
But anyways, so that's all on the YouTube side. You can follow me on Instagram at thrashmaniac_YT, as well as my threads, because, yeah, I only post whenever I'm bored. And then finally, follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch at thrashmaniac99. And until next week, may the shit be with you, because this shit has hit the fan. Jackasses.
Russian sickle.